be looking at how to set up a Maven Spring Boot project. So let's create a new project, and you need to go here. There is something called as generator, and click the Spring Boot, and yeah, Spring Boot, and you need to select the name. Here, this is the name of your project, and make sure your location is there, your preferred location and preferred directory, and also you need to select the Maven. Maven is the easiest one, and if there is something else, it might be com.example or something, you just remove those stuff and just type com, and this will be a name of your project. So if you need to change it, you can change it, and if there is something else, .com example, so I'll just remove this. If you need, you can remove that. It's okay if you keep like that, and just you need to click the next. Okay, here if you look at this, there is something called as start.spring.io. Most of the people do like this. You just go to this website and just click Maven and this thing, and those stuff you did, and you download add dependencies, and you just go and select the dependencies if you want. But we are using IntelliJ, so we don't need to do that stuff. So, and we'll just move here com.demo, and let's go to next, click next, and here there are dependencies. The dependencies, why we are using dependency? We are using dependency because dependencies are the libraries which are needed to run a Maven project, Maven or Spring Boot project. So yeah, let's just search the stuff we need. Lombok we know the Lombok. I'll explain why we are using Lombok. Yeah, and here SQL, there are two stuff here, SQL and no SQL. Depending on the database you are selecting, just go to ChatGPT or something, find the suitable library with suitable dependency and select. For now, I'll just select H2 database, and yeah, H2 database. And what are the other stuff we need? Let's select JPA and Spring Data JPA. And what else? Yeah, H2 database and starter Spring. Okay, if you need, we can add those stuff later also. So let's just create, and the application is loading and resolving dependencies of demo 3. Okay, yeah. So just click exclude folders, and yeah. So if you look at here, there are stuff here, idea, Maven, Spring Boot, and blah 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 blah. And let's talk about this XML file, form XML file. Form XML files, there is something called as dependencies. Okay, here dependencies. These are the dependencies tag. If you want to add any dependencies, which are, I mean, the libraries needed to run the Maven Spring Boot project. So if you need any dependencies, you can just go to add starters, and you can just search for it and add those. Okay, yeah. If we don't know what is the suitable dependency, you can just go to an AI or ask somewhere else, and you can just copy this and paste it here. Copy the dependency tag, but you must paste in between the dependencies tag. Okay, inside the dependency tag, and let's move to the next part. Okay, this is what you need to know about this form XML file. Okay, let's move to the next part, which is the source, and you must go inside the source, and you must go inside main, and then Java and ComDemo. So inside ComDemo and how the Spring Boot project works, let's just create some packages here. First one, entity, okay, and the next one is repository, and then a service package, service, okay, and then we must need controller, sorry, controller. Yep, we have created this. So how it works? First, there will be something called as entity. in entity, and then it from the entity it moves to repository, from repository to service, and service to controller. This is how the application works. Okay, and uh, controllers, they are the controllers are the files which have Java files which will have the APIs to connect, interact with the front end. So let's look at an example. Okay, so yeah, entity, let's go to entity and let's create a new file, which is a what are the file we can select. Okay, user, let's create a user class, and yeah. Okay, now for user, there will be something called as to identify the user uniquely. Every user should need a unique something, right? We'll just use a string, ID. So let's mark that ID as okay. Let's mark it as private int ID. Okay, and username, password, email, and phone number, address. Uh, the important thing is roles. Okay, so roles, and this is a constructor, right? This is a constructor. Okay, here these are the stuff here. Okay, okay, yeah. So if you need to connect this to a database, this entity, the classes in the entity. Okay, let's make this as I'll add something and something also here. What can we add here? Okay, user, and I'll create something appointment. Okay, no, not appointment. I'll make it as inventory. Okay, inventory. Inventory. Yeah, I'll create inventory. So these are the attributes, right? These attributes will be stored in the database as table. This will be the table name, and these attributes, this will be the primary key. The int ID will be the primary key, and these are the other rows, other columns in the table. And the table's name will be the user, and these are the primary key, and these are the other columns in the database. So I haven't created any database yet. So user is the entity, right? So we'll just click inside the entity. Just click entity. Okay, yeah, this is entity. Okay. It shows the entity. If there is an entity, there should be a primary key. The primary key will be the ID. Okay, I'll use at and ID. So it will. We need to. If it's showing red, you just go near it or show context action. Click, and you just need to click import classes. Okay, import classes, it will be automatically imported. We can. I told you, right? I'll tell you something about this Lombok stuff. So here you can just use this thing from the Lombok. Where what are those skins? Sorry, it must be setters. Okay, setters, and we must need to import getters. Okay, if we use these setters and getters, we no need to create setters and getters here. And also we can use all constructors, which means it will have all the constructors, and we will use no arg constructor, which has no attributes, which has zero parameters. No arg constructors means all arg constructors means all the possible constructors. Okay, all possible constructors. And then let's move to the repository. Let's create a Java. Sorry, let's create a Java class here, which is a user repository and this must be an interface. Okay, it must extends jpa. Okay, wait, I'll just remove the stuff and okay, wait, I'll remove that and I'll do it again. repository and Java class, and okay, create user repository, and this must be extended, extends JPA. Okay, JPA, it automatically suggests you user, and this user is showing in red, so we'll use select import here. Okay, import, done. So it's imported, and JPA means they are using the APIs. You can use the CRUD operations. Here it automatically creates it's a repository which it already has those create, find all, delete, those stuff, read, update, those options. And now let's go to the user class, and sorry, user service, and let's create a user service, and we must yeah, we can, okay, in the user service we'll just go to user service, and let's create a this thing. What is that? User repository, private user repository, and then let's create user service. Okay, service constructor, so we don't need to get constructors. Let's just go here. We need to just, I forgot this thing, we need to just annotate service here, just because it's a service repository, and here we need to add repository. Okay, yeah, and service here already is we call these as beans. Okay, yeah, let's create those stuff again. Let's go here, and yeah, we'll just create instructor or constructor, and also no constructor again, and then we'll create a user. Okay, public list of user, find all user, here we go. List input class, side this, return find all user. Okay, done. And let's create a user now. Public save user, then user, save user. Okay, and we'll change to p. Okay, create user. What else? Okay, public update user. Okay, and just public void delete user. Yeah. What else? Okay, so now let's go to the next part, which is the service. Let's create sorry, you're not service, user controller. Okay, this is the user controller, and we must annotate here controller. Okay, controller, yeah, and then what should we do here? We should create a private user repository. Sorry, that should be user service. User service done. And repository we're doing, we know we don't need repository. So here we go here. So there are few things here. Get wait a sec, this should be, we'll make this as a REST control. Okay, we'll just without adding this one, REST controller. Okay, we must import this, so we'll just import Spring Boot starter web. Okay, import this stuff, it will be imported. And then let's move here, and here yeah, we should create this thing, user service set as those stuff. Okay. Then we'll go to the next part, and which is why is oh yeah, okay, so we don't need this. Okay, then we'll start with get mapping. Okay, get mapping means it must be you must be creating find the get means getting from the database. Okay, so if we don't have something like this. Okay, so we need to import this, and we need to import the stuff. Just click alt enter and import. Okay, yeah, we got that. And then we'll be having post mapping. So post mapping means we need to post something, which means you are saving. So yeah, use create user service create. Sorry, that should be create only. Sorry about that. And then let's return this. Okay, return create. And then let's go here and add what are the other stuff. Okay, we need to get mapping, create mapping, and let's go to put mapping. Put mapping, we used to update these things. Okay, put mapping, and then delete mapping. We will be removing the so just return this. Here it's at let's go spring. Sorry, request mapping. Request mapping, and this will be the link you are using here. Okay, so we'll be using here API. So slash API dot slash users. Okay, users, and this will be the API. Okay, then for get mapping we'll use we'll be using it find all, so we don't need to use anything. We'll add another get mapping. Okay, there can be multiple get mappings and multiple these things, but the link must be different. Okay, so bracket and here the request mapping. Okay, request mapping means the main URL and then API and users. Okay, if we are using the other things which is inside the user controller, it will be the link will be typing like this. Okay, it will be a unique ID for the people. Okay, slash, and I'll be using ID here, the actual link of this one. Okay, if you need to see the actual link, okay, I'll show you. Here it is. Okay, it's get http API users. API means this API, and ID means this one. So that's how it works. Okay, I hope you guys understood what's going on here. And okay, and then Let's type it. Okay, user find by ID. Okay, user find get by ID. Get user by ID, and that's int ID, and then we'll return user service dot get user by ID. Okay, get user by ID bracket and ID. Okay, so it's showing in red, so it's not there. Let's we need to just create a method in here. Yeah, get user by ID and return get one. Okay, that's it. So it works. Okay, uh, then let's go to the request sorry controller here. It works. Okay, and then get mapping, we have done that, so let's just copy this and paste it for put mapping, and also this thing, put mapping and delete mapping. Okay, and yep, I hope it's working. This is the basic stuff, and you can add more things here, and yeah, you can add the exception handling, and this is how it works, the simple way. Yeah, I have explained only the what the basic fundamental things. This is how the Spring Boot flow works. First the user, and then repository, and service, and controller. Controller interact with this thing, the front end. These APIs will be used to interact with the front end. And I hope you guys understood. That's it for this video.